How we doing, everybody? Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer getting you ready for Week 15. My gosh, Tom, where has the time flown? From PNC Studios here at Hallis Hall, our game preview with the division rival, the Minnesota Vikings. A matchup we'll see twice in the final 4 weeks of the season, including the finale at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. First of all, how you doing? It's a division rival again, coming off a Packer game, which was exciting, at least for the first half. A lot of fireworks going on. You name it, it happened. Special teams killed it. Offense made some big plays, and you're thinking, wow, now we're in a shooting match with Aaron Rodgers, and that is dangerous.
Right, but how do you keep that formula together to continue the explosive plays that the Bears showed you in Lambeau Field on Sunday night? Because those can travel. When you have a guy as explosive as Jakeem Grant and the special teams explosion they showed both out of Khalil Herbert setting up scoring position, I think you can do that and bring it to Soldier Field Monday night and really incite the crowd with the explosiveness that you show. You have the ability to put on display.
Well, it'll bring people out of their seats and on their feet going crazy. That Demir Bird play, beautiful, right over the middle, angle route to the end zone, turn down the gas. Like you pointed out in the broadcast, in a position where he could go to the ball and go, not have to stop and go and get the football. And those are the kind of plays where you can really take that speed that is on this roster and use it to your advantage.
That's kind of the product of Justin's real arm talent. He's got good accuracy. He's got a good understanding of where the receiver is going to be and where the ball has to be. And again, you continue the process, repetitiously done throughout practice, and give your receivers an opportunity to put their speed on display.
All right, so a really good game in that regard. Defensively, the Bears are really getting eroded by injury, so big question marks on what they're having to do at the nickel defender position. This team, the Vikings, loaded, of course, with different weapons and a red-hot quarterback in Kirk Cousins. We'll delve into that in some detail in a moment, but defensively, Eddie Jackson finished the game as the slot nickel. How do you envision that playing out, and can he be the slot nickel with the depth at safety?
I think every single team across the board, they have to make changes at a moment's notice. But you just want to make sure that player is mentally prepared. And that was the one thing about Eddie. He understood what his assignments were. That's the next man up mentality. And everybody across the board since the 1920s, that's what they knew about what their role was with the team. And it goes from defensive backs all the way to the offensive line.
All right, Robert Quinn has had himself a year now, and it's still going strong. He's had sacks, I think, in 8 straight games, tackles for loss, had a couple of more on Sunday night. Getting more attention as the game went on, though, with doubles. Is that the plan now, do you think, against Robert Quinn? He's still able to defeat those doubles at times and put himself in a position to make a play or create a play for somebody else.
There you go, creating a play for somebody else. I like the working relationship between Bilal Nichols and Robert Quinn because these guys, they feed off of each other. They work well together. They got a lot of athleticism on that side of the line where Bilal can able to help and assist Robert Quinn and vice versa. So that's the way I would go with it. I'm not making this a one-man job and it's Robert Quinn's responsibility to save the defense. I like these guys working in tandem and then take that tandem and work it to the other side of the defensive line and even the linebackers behind them.
All right, let's start breaking it down. The Minnesota Vikings at 6-7, exactly the same spot they were when the Bears met them last year for a second time, 6-7. They are still in the hunt for a playoff spot, coming off a big win over Pittsburgh where they ran the ball and ran it right down their throats from the start of the game to the end of the game.
But what was the narrative going into that game? It was, wow, Dalvin Cook is injured. Dalvin Cook has a bad shoulder. I don't know if he's going to be able to play.
Had a separated shoulder.
I know,
maybe a torn
but what
labrum.
I'm saying is what it does to the opponent. It kind of, then you drop your guard. Oh, well, if we tack him, he's not going to be able to lower shoulder. He's not going to bring the force to us. And all of a sudden you see a hole open up on the line of scrimmage because what is the offensive line being told all week is, looking, you got to provide an opportunity for Dalvin to succeed, and that's by opening some big holes. And that's exactly what they did. Even though he has a shoulder issue, you saw what he's willing to do. 5 runs of over 15 yards just in the first half alone. That's explosive running game for that offensive line.
10.6 K at 205, folks. So he's the man to watch. And the Bears have known this, obviously. They've done a nice job on him for the most part over the years. Dalvin Cook is going to find it tough sledding against the Bears' defensive front. They've had some, though, injuries, so we'll have to keep an eye on how that all works out. But that's just one part of the puzzle. Kirk Cousins, you got to give him credit. I mean, he has been an outstanding quarterback. Early in the year, they were talking about MVP-type candidate play. He has not turned the ball over much. He has spread it around and thrown a lot of touchdown passes. He has kept them in games, and he has pulled out some games. It has been a fine year for him, Kirk Cousins. What are your thoughts?
Well, you look at the numbers between he and Justin, and he's got over 2,000 yards more passing than Justin. And I know Justin has been in and out of the lineup, and he's a developing young quarterback. But it just shows you the opposite end of the spectrum with experience at the quarterback position. Yeah, Kirk Cousins has been able to do everything that's asked of him. But when you look at the Jefferson, the explosive receiver, and I know Adam Thielen is injured right now, but Jefferson is one of the top receivers since he's come aboard in the NFL, and he's the type of guy that Kirk Cousins is willing to go to repeatedly if he feels that there's some type of advantage.
Well, Justin Jefferson's elite. He is every bit as elite right now, despite his age, young in this league, as Devontae Adams. He's an outstanding route runner. He is physical. He is nasty catching that football, just having an unbelievable season, and he is his go-to guy for touchdowns. But there's others. KJ Osborne filling in for Thielen, who's got 10 touchdown catches, and he's spread around. And Tyler Conklin, the tight end, has really been involved in a great way, almost 50 catches this year and 3 touchdowns.
To me, get physical as quickly as you can against their biggest play guys, Dalvin Cook and Jefferson, and make Kirk Cousins go in other directions.
Because, believe it or not, 2 men can kill a show. I mean, they got 2 elite playmakers along with Kirk Cousins that can ruin your day. Let's flip it now to the defensive side of the ball. You know what you're getting from Mike Zimmer. You want tough, physical, stop the run if you can, rush the quarterback. It's a system that's been in place for a long time, very familiar. He likes veteran players, as I was told by Bill Laser, the Bears offensive coordinator on WBBM on the Coaches Show on Monday night. You know what you're getting with Mike Zimmer. And the more veteran player where they know where they have to be and be in the right position, that's what he's looking for. So what's he got? He's got 15 guys that have put his 41 sacks. Their big guns, Everson Griffin and Daniil Hunter, are not playing. They're out. But the rest of the guys, that's a lot of guys having at least a half a sack. And they have 8 guys with their 11 interceptions. So what's that tell you right off the bat?
Tells me right off the bat, run the ball. I'm not going to give these guys an opportunity to rush the passer. Don't stop me. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give these guys a chance to do what they want to do. I'm not going to let Mike Zimmer come in here and say, hey, rush me all day because this is what, you can take advantage of. I'm going to get Dave Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, Damian Williams, Jakeem Grant, anybody else who wants to carry a ball. And I'm going to have success on 1st and 2nd down. And so I'm going to make this defensive line, I'm going to have them question mark. Okay, are they going to run the ball on 3rd down? Is Justin going to scramble as efficiently as he did in Green Bay? So, I mean, if you become one-dimensional and you're out there 2nd 9, 3rd 9, then that's an invitation to Zimmer.
What do you think of the number of players that have had a hand in sacks or picks? That's a pretty big number.
Some of it has to do because of the injury bug, but it's the versatility that Mike Zimmer has always shown. Harrison Smith is one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's got as many sacks as some defensive linemen around the league. So it's not always coming from those front 4.
Oh, no.
Kendricks, the middle linebacker, is a good sacker.
F5.
So they can come from all over the place, and that's what it's about, making sure that you don't put yourself in an obvious position where they know what you have to do.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, every one of those defensive linemen, even the second team guys, have at least a half a sack. So they're coming at you in waves a little bit. Who are you circling when you're getting ready for the game? Harrison Smith is always going to be that guy. Kendricks, is he in that realm right now as well,
100%.
right?
I mean, he's super intelligent. He's a fast-reacting linebacker. He has a good understanding of the opponent's offense by the time he plays them. He likes to be on a national stage as much as any other player in the NFL. So, but what are they going to tell him now? Hey, you got to spy Justin Fields now because of what he was doing to the linebackers and his ability to run the ball against Green Bay. So now does that kind of change his function? Rather than moving out of position, is he kind of a stationary, not target, but an opportunity to limit what Justin can do and have a hand in stopping the running game?
Got to talk special teams because they deserve a gold star, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 gold stars for their performance on Sunday night. Can they take it to Soldier Field on Monday night? Because the Vikings also have a pretty good return game. They got D.D. Westbrook in the punt game. He's averaging better than 8 on his returns. And then Kenny Nwango, another one of those Iowa State guys, 2 return touchdowns this year. He's only returned 10, 2 for touchdowns. So on high alert.
Another one of those Iowa State
I had
guys
to
because
slip it
you're
in.
from Iowa
I had to
State.
slip it in.
But again, yeah, I do think that the Bears have showed the explosiveness in returning the ball. The vulnerability of the Bears special teams is stopping the return game of the opponent. If they can make Kirk Cousins have the longest of longest fields after every kickoff and have them the same thing on the punt return, that's when you're going to create an advantage. So I think Chris Tabor loves a challenge like this, especially at home, because the way it can excite the crowd, the way it can spark the sidelines, and again, really the result of what explosiveness can do on special teams.
Jakeem Grant's going to get a loud ovation when he gets back there after a team record, franchise record, 97-yard punt return. Really ran it really well on that one, was in big trouble, and then took it up the left sidelines, had great blocking along the way. But as you said, Chris Tabor does love a challenge, and you hopefully will join us on the radio as well for the 4:15 pregame show from Soldier Field on News Radio 105.9 WBBM. For Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. Thanks for watching Game Preview again this week. We'll talk to you next time.